so it's, what is it? It's Thursday. The 17th? 17th of, no, 16th. 16th? 16th. 16th of November. About 22:11. Heading out to take care of some marketing pictures and video for a property that needs to go to market. Routine, business as usual. I was out and about yesterday, didn't record. Didn't feel particularly inspired or motivated to talk about anything. But the day before, I recorded for over an hour, and I really felt through that whole process, and once I was done, that was one of the most powerful and influential recordings that I've ever made. So I got home and I was all fired up about getting it processed, and I don't know if it was because of the file size or if there was a glitch in the software, but I was trying to drag them into the converter, because it all goes through this GoPro software. Trying to drag them into the converter one file at a time, and there were 6 files. Just because of the length of recording, it only records, or it files and saves them in 12-minute increments. And when I was going to process them, it was coming up as that they were, several of them were corrupted and not usable. That's happened before, and I've reboot the computer, kind of reset everything, and try it again, and I was getting the same thing, and I started to panic, because I'm thinking, this is literally, out of all the things that I've done, this is one of the most powerful pieces that I've generated, and I can't access it. And I had to calm myself down and say, all right, well, just need to look at the details and the facts here. I'm able to open each file from the source, from the camera. They're all accessible. And the second time around, I was still getting, let me figure out where I was going. I was still getting corrupted files, but they were different. They weren't the same as the ones from the first time around, which made me think there's something glitchy with the system, or the way that I was importing them. And so I decided to go back through and import them and process them, or convert them one at a time, which was much more time consuming, but it worked. I was able to get them all. That's a long description about it, but it really, I was worried. They're so excited to get home and see all this, or think all this stuff that was going on in my head, and how I had kind of pieced this all together, and how it was going to affect the rest of my life, and thought maybe I had lost it, but I just had to get creative and make it happen, which is kind of how you have to deal with everything in your life. You might run into some glitches, you might run into some hiccups here and there that you could choose to let stop you completely, or you could think outside the box and find a way to make it happen. So, having talked about that and how powerful that recording is, and it was powerful, but it was also passionate and slightly potentially offensive. It was very much me, and I was kind of fired up that day anyway about a lot of different things, especially work. So I haven't decided 100% if I was going to post it. I really was planning on that when I first was processing it, because it was true. It was very true to me. It was unguarded. It was not modified in any way, and I kind of told Rhonda so we didn't really get to sit on the couch together and watch some of our shows together, because I was kind of tied up with the computer, and I was obsessively, compulsively not going to let it go until I got it figured out. So I kind of gave her an explanation of what I talked about and kind of my attitude in there, and it is not really friendly to some individuals that could possibly take offense to it. So she was really worried that I was going to post it, and it kind of gave me second thoughts about it. I mean, eventually I will post that, especially in the scheme of where we're going with things right now, and but I have some reservations about that. So like I said, it's Thursday, the week's almost over. I'm pretty much booked up solid today with things to do, and which makes the day go by faster. And then we're into Friday. We got the 2-day weekend, a 3-day work weekend, and a 4-day weekend. So love this time of the year. Fall is always my favorite time of the year anyway, and in this industry, it's the downslide. It's coming out of the busy season. There's more flexibility to take time off, and I'm excited about that. So in my recording the other day, I kind of talked about what some of our new plans are, and I'm not going to rehash a lot of that right now, but we've basically decided to make life an adventure, and the more every day goes by, the more this becomes kind of a reality for us, and it's exciting. I am on fire with anticipation for doing this, and it's really as simple as converting our approach to life to an adventure. And several months back I was not happy with my job, dissatisfied, wanted to make some changes, wanted to improve our life, and we were like, all right, let's start this business. And I don't need to go through that again. It's I've talked about it numerous times. It ended up becoming a very stressful and unpleasant situation, and I felt like I was confining myself, and I was like, this isn't what I want. Wasn't the intention. And it was a dream. It's always been a dream to be self-sufficient and operate a business, but as I talked about in this recording a couple days ago, I had given myself so many limitations, restrictions, rules that I needed to comply with, that it just no longer became fun. And the risk associated with it and the mindset that I was creating was not beneficial for anybody. So I basically gave myself permission just to step back and think about it, rehash, and decide, all right, what do I want to do? How do I want to do this? And in that process, several things have changed. Several things have come, presented themselves to me, and all of a sudden we're like, let's travel. And bottom line is, now we're really seriously looking into just kind of selling everything off and going abroad. And one, I think it'll be fantastic for me as a writer to continue a career in writing and generate the credentials I need to be inspirational speaker, to motivate people to follow their dreams and live life as an adventure. And I created this whole Sage Gourmand concept to do it on a small level, daily, hourly. All right, we can celebrate life through food every day, every hour. But now I'm taking this another step and saying, you know what, there's so many things that you can do, and this just really sets me. I keep using this on fire analogy, but it just got me all keyed up and fired up. Even my dream patterns have changed the last couple of days since we've started talking about that. I'm hitting these areas of nocturnal activity that are leaving me feeling very energized the following day. I have not felt like I needed any kind of afternoon nap. I am not feeling the exhaustion and the fatigue that I have normally felt. I feel elevated, and it's all because of just thinking about this. And the more we've talked about it, the more we've researched, the easier it seems like it's going to be, because it seems like a really daunting task to just pack up and go to another country and roll the dice and see what happens. But the more we've looked into it, the more research we've done, the easier it seems to be presenting itself, which is making it even more exciting. Whereas, the business, the more we dug into it, the harder things were getting. It's like, oh, all right, well, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do this. Now it's going to cost this, and it's going to cost this, and it's going to cost this. And this, the more we're looking into it, we had an idea. I mean, again, it comes down to perception and perspective. We have a perception and perspective going into it of what the cost and the effort is going to be, and it's demoralizing to have it, what's going to be required, exceed what your perception and perspective is. But on the other side, having it come in less than what you were expecting is invigorating. And that's where we're at. We're looking at this opportunity and this option, and it's the more we're looking into what it's actually going to take to make it happen, it's much easier than what we thought. And it's this mental mindset of, all right, well, that's an unrealistic desire, that's an unrealistic goal. And I'm all about shooting for the stars and chasing those dreams and doing things that you want to do, regardless of what the anticipated or what the perceived cost is going to be, or the perceived difficulty. But you also have to temper it with reality. And it just makes things easier. It's in no sense swimming against the current. So now this is where we're at. It's mid-November. We've got this cruise coming up in 2 months, just over 2 months. Excited about that, looking forward to that. It's going to be our 4th year in a row of going on a cruise, and it's this living this lifestyle now of that we've established. We've moved to Texas. We've wanted to create a better lifestyle for ourselves, and taking vacations is one of those things. The Sage Gourmand concept is about every day trying to find a meal time and celebrating life that way. But you need to build on that. That's just the base. You can do that. You can live minimalistically that way. But we love to travel. Both of us do. We've always been drawn to that, and it's always been like one of those things. Oh, someday, or I can't really afford it now, or maybe I'll. It's just too much. But 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when we took that first cruise, we got our income tax refund, and I was like, hey, let's go on a vacation. We got some money in the bank right now, and this is how much a cruise costs. Do you want to do it? All right, let's do it. And boom, I did it right then, right there. And I had all this buyer's remorse and guilt about doing it. And oh my God, can we really afford this? And we went, and it was fantastic. And I was like, we have to do this more often. And the next year it was like, all right, well, can we do it? Well, we just did it. So, we established that it was feasible, and we did it. And now it's become a pattern, and it's become part of our life. And it's the life that we want to live. It makes us happy. And now thinking about this possibility of going abroad and traveling around and experiencing some of the things the world has to offer, and not just our immediate geographic location. Again, it's kind of scary. We're kind of in the same position we were 6 years ago when we were in Illinois, and we're like, all right, we want a better life, but we're not getting it here. We want to make a change, and we decided, all right, well, let's scrap everything. Let's move to Texas. We're moving across the country. It seemed like a monumental decision in our lives, and one that could be successful and may not. And it was terrifying, but it was invigorating, and we lived a very passionate kind of life for several years, and then started to get back into that. All right, well, now what? All right, we've done this. What do we do now? And I'm absolutely, again, just blown away by the prospect of us doing this within the next year. So, me being me, I want to do it now. I get all kinds of unknown calls here recently. I just ignore them, but anyway, so we've got this cruise, which is, again,
phone call completed,
is a continuation of us living this lifestyle we've created since we've been in Texas. And now the plan is to work through July, and in August, which will be 7 years to the date that we came to Texas, and on our anniversary, we plan to have everything sold off, the house, the cars, everything that we own except for some personal mementos, and we're planning on getting on a plane and flying to New Zealand. And I can't express how excited the whole prospect makes me feel, and I keep saying that over and over and over again. I keep thinking I'm going to say it, but I'm going to have it with more enthusiasm this time and different words, but every time it keeps coming out the same, because I just can't get past how big this is to me and both of us, really. And we're in a position to do it. We have the capacity, and it's kind of the same scenario as when we packed up and came to Texas. It's kind of symbolic that we're doing it on an anniversary of that. And but right now, we kind of talked about it last night. It's like, all right, well, this is what I think we should do. Well, let's just set a date, and that was the date we kind of both. Rhonda actually brought it up. I was thinking August, not because of this symbolism behind it, just because, all right, well, August I think is just a good month. It'll get us through the summer. It'll help, the company we work for get at least most of the way through the busy season, give them enough time to find replacement people that we can train, give us more time to earn some income and whittle down some debt. So right now we've basically said, all right, well, we're going to go in August, and now we just need to make an agenda, make a punch list. All right, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. Cut down some of the things that we spend money on in our everyday lives that aren't necessarily a requirement. Just cut some corners wherever we can. We've been living a very prosperous but also very spontaneous life. It's just like, all right, hey, let's go do this now, and let's buy this, let's spend this, and we really haven't given much thought about the cost, but we have kind of accumulated some debt. So we're just going to shift our finances without creating that mindset of constraint, but just funnel the money towards the end goal, which is this trip. And getting a work visa in New Zealand is relatively easy. I looked at the details in their punch list and their point system and how they do that. But with a U.S. passport, you can travel New Zealand for 3 months without any type of a visa. And it's actually easier to get one and apply for one, and you get more points if you're already in country, and especially if you have work lined up. So that's our plan right now. It's just like, all right, well, we're going to just chuck everything, sell everything off. We're just going to liquidate so that we have nothing but cash and what available credit we have, and we're just going to go, and we'll get a place to live. It might be for 2 weeks, might be for a month, and just a temporary place, and kind of explore and see, all right, is this where we want to spend some time? And no definite, it's not permanent. It could be, who knows? But it's not. We're not going with the mindset that it's permanent. We're not going with the mindset that it's temporary. We're just going, just like when we jumped in the car and drove to Texas and said, we're just going to drive down there and see what happens. And we got in the car, we drove to Texas, and I never went back other than to get our stuff. I stayed and started working, and this could be a similar circumstance. It may not. We may get there and explore for a little bit and say, all right, yeah, not for us, and maybe we want to go somewhere else, and just kind of see where that takes us. And from a standpoint of creating a joyous, exciting, adventurous, abundant life, this couldn't be a better decision for us. for me, trying to get into that role as a writer and speaker, this is the move that would catapult that into new realms, because it's something that a lot of people haven't done, and I'm excited about it. Speaking of that, kind of transitioning, I got word back from the publishing manager, book manager, that I submitted my chapter to for Joe Vitale's book. Yesterday she sent me back an edited version. I didn't want to put anybody through any extra steps or anything. I sat down one morning and I wrote this rough draft. It ended up being 500 plus words, longer than it needed to, but I have a tendency to get wordy when I'm trying to explain certain things, and sometimes it takes me several paragraphs of using different phrasing, terminology, and expressions to explain one point, but that can always be whittled down. And I was like, all right, well, here, just take a look at it and let me know where you think I can adjust and take this. Just keep in mind this is a rough draft. She's like, all right, well, I'll look at it. It'll take me a couple weeks. And I was like, all right, well, I didn't want to wait that long. I just wanted a quick, scan it and let me know where I can work on it. Well, they edited the whole thing. They took it, they processed it, they edited it, they trimmed it down, they made it more concise. She sent it to me last night and said, all right, well, please take a look at it and let me know if you think this is okay. We did, whittle it down to about 1,100 words. And then there's some, general editing things, misspelled words, misused, phrases. And again, this was just a rough draft that I typed up, boom, 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 without doing any kind of reread or rewrites or anything. I just wanted to get the information down, and she sent it back, and it's nearly a finished piece now. And I was surprised that they did that, and I'm extremely excited. I got it last night, and I was afraid to read it. I was like, okay, I'm excited that they read it. I'm glad that I got some positive feedback in the email about what they took from it and how I wrote it, and I was like, okay. And I can remember everything I wrote, but I wasn't ready to read the edited version, and I read it just before I got in the car to come here. I opened it up in the office and said, all right, I'm just going to do this real quick before I go out, and I read it, and I'm blown away. They got every point that I wanted to have in that chapter there, but they modified the words and took some stuff out, and I couldn't be happier with it. And it's just made me even more excited about this whole thing, this whole process. So now, we're in the slow season. I've got days off I can use for through the holiday season. We've got this plan to be done and go on this life-changing adventure in August of next year. We've got the cruise in January. I've got now this book that I will be a part of that will be published and out beginning of next year. I have my own book that I'm working on, and I have these videos documenting the whole thing, and I just see nothing but potential and abundance in front of me, and it's the rare times in my life where I feel absolute joy, and I've talked about that in the past, the difference between being content, being happy, and actually feeling joy. And right now I feel joy, and that is definitely not something that is an everyday occurrence for me. It's not even an every week or every month occurrence. It's just one of those things that I would like to experience more in my life, and that's what this whole process is trying to get in touch with those actions, those scenario situations in my life that bring me joy, and appreciating them when they're there and trying to generate them more often. And I can honestly say, sitting right here in this car on this Thursday at 11 o'clock on the 16th of November, with the sun shining through the windows and just feeling good about everything, that I actually feel joy right now with everything that is going on, the direction it's going, where I'm at currently. I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm happy with where I'm going. I'm happy with where I've been, and I wish with every bit of my being that everybody that has a chance to and takes the time to watch this and listen to this has that opportunity to feel this and be able to recreate it as often as you can in your life. And that's it. Joy.